There are moments in your life you still remember, not because they were big or dramatic or unforgettable, but because they quietly changed how you saw yourself. Moments when someone asked something of you, a favor, an invitation, a last-minute plan, a project, a conversation, and you didn't want to say yes. Every part of you whispered, "Don't do it." You were tired. You had other priorities. You had boundaries. But the words slipped out anyway. Sure. Yeah. Okay. You smiled, maybe even laughed. You acted like it didn't bother you. But afterward, you stayed up late finishing a task you didn't want. You delayed your own work. You sat in a room full of people you didn't care to be around. You gave away time you couldn't afford to lose. You twisted yourself into a version that made someone else feel comfortable, while your own needs sat there, abandoned. You didn't say yes because it was right. You said yes because saying no felt too uncomfortable. And it's not just once, it's been your whole life. You've agreed to things that made you anxious. You've stayed in conversations that drained you. You've attended events that made you feel invisible. All because you didn't want to seem rude. You didn't want to disappoint. You didn't want to be seen as difficult. But here's what no one tells you. Every time you say yes to someone, when you want to say no, you say no to yourself. You chip away at your self-respect. You reinforce the idea that your feelings are optional. You become reliable to everyone except you. And it's not noble. It's not mature. It's not selfless. It's self-abandonment. And the worst part, they don't even notice because you've trained them not to. You're not weak for struggling to say no. You're not spineless. You're not broken. You're just human. And humans, especially those who were raised to please, to accommodate, to be easy to love, carry invisible contracts they never sign. Contracts that say, if I say no, I'll hurt someone. If I say no, I'll be rejected. If I say no, I'll lose love. And so you learn to avoid those outcomes the only way you could, by saying yes. You started early. As a kid, maybe you were praised when you were agreeable. Maybe you got punished or emotionally shut out when you pushed back. Maybe you learned that good people make others happy, even if it makes themselves miserable. And slowly, you created a reflex. Say yes, stay safe. Say no, risk everything. So now, even as an adult, the reflex stays. You nod even when you disagree. You offer help even when you're drowning. You show up even when your body screams to rest. And you think this makes you generous, thoughtful, kind. But here's the truth. It doesn't make you kind. It makes you afraid. Afraid of being seen as selfish. Afraid of being thought of as difficult. Afraid of finally honoring yourself and watching what happens next. Because let's be honest, when you say yes to someone out of fear, it's not generosity, it's survival. You're not giving from abundance. You're giving from obligation. You're not choosing. You're reacting. And every time you do this, you teach the world, my time is negotiable. My needs are flexible. My boundaries are soft. And then you wonder why people cross lines. They cross lines because you never made it clear there was a line. They push past your capacity because you always stretch it for them. They expect access because you've never revoked it. The guilt you feel when saying no is not proof that you're doing something wrong. It's proof that you're doing something new, something unfamiliar but necessary. You've trained yourself to believe that rejection is the worst thing that could happen, that if someone gets disappointed, it's your fault, that peace in a relationship is worth more than peace within yourself. But how long are you willing to live like that? How long will you keep saying yes to avoid awkward conversations? How long will you keep pretending you don't mind, just so they'll keep liking you? How many more days, months, years are you willing to give away simply because you never learned how to say two letters? It's not rude. It's not selfish. It's a declaration. No, I can't come tonight. No, I don't have the capacity for that right now. No, that doesn't align with my priorities. No, I don't owe you access just because you asked nicely. It feels terrifying at first, like breaking a spell. Because in a way, it is. You're breaking the spell that everyone else's comfort matters more than your own. And maybe some people won't like it. Maybe they'll guilt you. Maybe they'll pull away. But the people who matter, the ones who see you as human, not as a convenience, will adjust. They'll respect you more, not less. And you'll start to notice something else. Peace. The kind of peace that doesn't come from having no conflict with others, but from finally having no conflict with yourself. Because saying no doesn't push people away. Saying no makes space for the people, the work, the rest, the dreams, the boundaries, the life that actually aligns with you. And that's not selfish. That's self-respect. Here's the truth. You will never feel ready to start saying no. There will never be a perfect moment where you're calm, confident, and fully articulate. You won't feel bold. You'll feel awkward, clumsy, guilty, but you do it anyway. Because saying no is a muscle. And right now, yours is weak. Not because you're broken, but because you've spent your entire life strengthening the opposite one. The muscle of self-erasure, of default yes, of fake smiles and quiet resentment. So how do you start? You start small, quiet, imperfect. The next time someone asks if you're free and you're not, don't over-explain. Don't create a fake excuse. Just say, not tonight. I've got other things I need to take care of. And let the silence sit. Don't fill it with apologies. Don't perform your guilt. Let it be uncomfortable. Let it stretch you. Because what's growing is your boundary. What's growing is your voice. What's growing is your understanding that peace isn't something you owe others. It's something you owe yourself. You'll feel guilty. That's part of the process. Guilt is the withdrawal symptom of people-pleasing. Let it pass. And the people around you, they might not like it at first. Some will push back. Some will pressure you. Some will question your change, your tone, your coldness, your attitude. But ask yourself, why were they so comfortable with your discomfort? Why did your exhaustion benefit them? Why does your silence make their life easier? You will learn over time that healthy people don't punish you for having limits. They don't need a justification for your no. They don't see your boundaries as rejection. They see them as clarity. And here's something even more freeing. You don't need to feel good about saying no for it to be the right choice. The power isn't in how you feel after. The power is in the fact that, for once, you chose yourself over your fear. You acted out of alignment, not obligation, because you are allowed to protect your time. You are allowed to cancel a plan you don't want to attend. You are allowed to exit a conversation that drains you. You are allowed to say no to people who only reach out when they need something. You are allowed to build a life that makes you proud, even if it disappoints others. Let them adjust. You've spent years adjusting to everyone else, years reshaping yourself, biting your tongue, padding your rejections, softening your truths, and now it's their turn to learn who you really are. The version of you that no longer gives away time like it's free. The version of you that no longer performs being okay. The version of you that knows when to say yes because you finally have the courage to say no. There will come a day, not far from now, when someone asks something of you, a favor, a call, a night out, and you'll pause. Not because you're unsure, but because you've changed, because you finally understand the cost of every yes that isn't meant. You'll feel the same pressure, the same awkward tension in your chest. You'll hear the voice of guilt, trying to reason with you. Just say yes. It's easier. Don't make it awkward. Be nice. But this time you'll breathe. You'll look at your calendar, your priorities, your energy, your soul, and you'll say it. No. And in that moment, something will break. But it won't be the relationship. It won't be the peace. It won't be your character. It will be the spell you've been under your entire life. That love must be earned through self-sacrifice. That silence equals virtue. That to be accepted, you must always be available. And when it breaks, you'll feel it. The quiet power of alignment. The strange, unfamiliar calm of being proud of your decision, even if no one else claps. The inner voice, the one you buried for years, finally speaking without fear. Because saying no isn't rejection. Saying no is protection. Saying no is redirection. Saying no is the boundary between the life you tolerate and the life that finally fits. And here's the part no one tells you. The more you say no to what doesn't align, the more you make room for what does. The right people will stay. The right opportunities will come. The right life will unfold. Quietly, slowly, on the other side of a word you used to be afraid to say.